It was supposed to be a simple drive home, just a 2-hour trip on Route 9, a quiet, winding stretch that cut through the woods and ended near the town of Clearwater. I'd driven it dozens of times. I knew every bend, every faded sign, every gas station that shut down years ago. But that night, it didn't feel familiar. The fog started around 10:40 p.m., a soft, pale mist at first. I thought it was just low ground fog, the kind that hugs the road and disappears in a few minutes. But as I kept driving, it grew thicker, heavier. It felt alive. My high beams bounced off the white wall of fog, making it worse. I slowed down, rolled my window a little, hoping to see better. But the air outside was cold, damp, and carried a faint smell of iron, like rust or blood. I turned on the radio to break the silence. Static. No signal. Not even the emergency channel. That's when I realized I hadn't seen another car for nearly half an hour. Not one. Just me, the fog, and the endless stretch of asphalt. Then, through the haze, I saw something. A faint red glow ahead. Brake lights, maybe? I pressed the gas gently, moving closer. But as I did, the lights began to fade. When I reached the spot, nothing. No car, no lights, not even tire marks on the wet road. I checked my phone. No service. Time, 11:06 p.m. I was sure I hadn't missed any exits, but the road signs looked wrong. Faded letters I didn't recognize. Place names that didn't exist. Milburn Cross, 3 miles. I knew every town around Route 9, and there was no Milburn Cross. That's when I thought I heard it. A voice. It came from the fog outside my car, faint, whispering my name. I froze. I wasn't imagining it. I swear it said my name. I rolled my window up fast, heart pounding. The voice faded. The fog seemed thicker now, pressing against the glass like it wanted to get in. I thought about turning around, but when I looked in the rearview mirror, there was no road behind me. Just fog. Endless, white fog. And for the first time, I noticed something else. My gas gauge stuck at half tank, no matter how long I'd been driving. The needle hadn't moved an inch. That's when it hit me. Maybe Route 9 wasn't taking me home anymore. I kept driving, because what else was I supposed to do? Turning back didn't make sense anymore. There was no back, just that thick white wall behind me that seemed to swallow everything it touched. The fog felt heavier now, almost oily, and every time my headlights cut through it, I swore I saw shapes. Not clear ones, just shadows, quick flashes, like someone walking by the edge of the road, then vanishing. At 11:29 p.m., I finally saw something that looked like a sign of life. A dim orange glow ahead. Streetlights. A town. Or it looked like one. As I drove closer, the fog thinned, just enough for me to see a wooden board by the roadside. Faded paint, cracked letters. Welcome to Milburn Cross. Established 1911. My heart skipped. Milburn Cross, the same name from the sign earlier. But this place, it wasn't on any map. The streets were empty, every house dark. No movement, no sound, except for the low hum of the car engine. I stopped near what looked like a diner. Old neon letters barely glowing red. Eat here. I stepped out. The air was freezing. The fog clung to my clothes like wet fabric, and the silence. It was too still. Even the insects were quiet. I walked to the diner window, pressed my hand against the glass. Inside, the lights flickered. Booths, countertops, coffee cups still half full, like everyone had just left. That's when I noticed the mirror behind the counter. It wasn't reflecting me. It showed the diner, but it was different. Clean, bright. People sitting, eating, talking. But they weren't moving. Frozen in place like a photograph. And in the center booth, a man sat alone, head tilted down, wearing the same jacket I was wearing. I stumbled back, heart racing. Then, the diner lights flickered again, and everything went dark. When they came back on, there was something written on the glass in front of me, in long, wet streaks. "You're late." I turned around, but there was no one there, just the fog again. And faintly, through it, I could see the town stretching further. Houses, lampposts, even a church steeple in the distance. I thought, maybe someone's there. Maybe I can find help. But as I started walking down the main street, the fog began to move too. It wasn't drifting anymore. It was following me. Every step I took, it slithered closer, curling between the buildings, crawling along the road like something alive. And then I saw them. Shadows, standing in the middle of the road. Dozens of them. Faces hidden in the fog. Still, watching. My body froze. My brain screamed run, but my legs wouldn't move, until one of them took a step forward. A tall figure, pale, thin, with eyes like empty sockets, glowing faint white. And in its hand, it was holding something. A car key. My car key. I turned to run, but the fog was already everywhere, thick, choking, swallowing the road and the sky. And then I heard it, that whisper again, right by my ear this time. "You should have stayed on the road." The world tilted. My vision went dark. And the last thing I remember was falling into something cold, wet, and endless. When I opened my eyes, it wasn't dark. It was grey, a dull, soupy light all around me, like I was floating in thick smoke that breathed. I tried to move, but my limbs felt heavy, like I was underwater. And yet, I could still breathe. Then I realized I was underwater, except the water wasn't water. It was fog. Below me, I could see shadows swimming, people, I think. Dozens of them, drifting slowly, their faces turned upward like they were waiting for something, their mouths open, their eyes gone. My chest tightened. I kicked hard, trying to rise, but the fog water dragged me back, thick and cold as ice. Something brushed past my arm, soft, human fingers. I turned and saw her. A woman, hair floating around her like black seaweed. Her face was pale, her lips blue, but she was smiling. "You came back." I tried to scream, only a burst of bubbles escaped. She reached out, her hand brushing my cheek, and when her fingers touched me, memories slammed into my head. A car, a crash, rain, and a road sign. Route 9. Then darkness again. I blinked, and suddenly I wasn't underwater anymore. I was lying on the cold ground beside that same well from earlier, the one I thought I'd seen miles away. Fog curled out from it like smoke, and from deep inside, I heard them, voices whispering in layers, overlapping. "Stay. Join. You never left." My phone buzzed in my pocket. No signal, no time, no battery. But the screen lit up. A message from my number. Stop trying to leave. The ground trembled, a small, subtle shake that turned into a low rumble. The well began to glow faint blue from within, and the fog thickened, pulling toward me like a living thing. I took one step back, then another. But behind me, there was nothing. No road, no car, just endless grey. And then, the whisper changed. Now, it wasn't just many voices. It was one. Clear, close, right beside my ear. You're already one of us. My body froze, because when I looked down, my hands weren't mine anymore. They were pale, wet, translucent, fog seeping through the veins. I ran toward the well. I don't even know why. Maybe to end it, maybe to wake up. But before I could reach it, someone grabbed my shoulder. I turned, and standing there, dripping, hollow-eyed, was me. It's been almost a year since Mr. Harlan died. Everyone in our neighborhood remembered that night. The ambulance lights flashing against the rain. The officers going in and out of his house. And then, silence. After that, his house stayed empty. Curtains always drawn. Windows dusty. No one wanted to buy it. They said strange things happened there. I didn't believe it. Until last night. I live right across from him. My bedroom window faces his. It's maybe 30 feet between us, just across a narrow backyard and an old fence. I was on my laptop, half asleep, when something caught my eye. A faint light from his house. It wasn't the porch. It wasn't a car. It was coming from the upstairs window. The one that used to be his study. And then I saw him, Mr. Harlan, standing there, perfectly still, his face pale under the light, eyes locked directly into mine, through the glass. At first I froze. My brain refused to believe it. He's dead. I went to his funeral. I saw them lower the casket. But he was there, his hand slowly lifted, like he was waving. Except it wasn't a wave. It looked more like a warning. I closed my blinds, heart hammering in my chest. I tried to convince myself it was some reflection, a trick of light. Maybe someone broke in. But then I heard something. A tap. From my own window. 3 slow knocks. Like someone was answering from the other side. When I finally pulled the curtain open again, his window was dark, empty. But in the faint reflection of the glass, I could still see him, standing behind me. I didn't sleep that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw his face, pale, unblinking, pressed against the glass. By morning, I tried convincing myself it was exhaustion, maybe the flicker of my monitor, maybe the shadows outside. But then I saw something that made my stomach twist. His curtains were open. For a year, those curtains never moved. I know because I could see them every morning from my kitchen. Now, they were parted, like someone wanted me to look in. I grabbed my phone and zoomed in through the window. The image was grainy, but I could see a faint figure, sitting in the same armchair he always used. Still, almost like a wax figure. I should have stopped looking, but I couldn't. Around noon, I decided to go next door. The gate creaked when I pushed it open. The metal was cold, like it hadn't been touched in months. The front porch smelled of rain and rot, and when I rang the bell, it rang back. 3 slow chimes, almost the same rhythm as the knocks I heard on my window last night. The door wasn't locked. Inside, the air was heavy, like the house had been holding its breath. Everything was covered in a fine layer of dust, except for one thing. A chair by the upstairs window. The dust around it was disturbed. Footprints led to it, and then stopped. I stood there, frozen. That was the same chair where I'd seen him. And then behind me, I heard the faint creak of floorboards. Someone was upstairs. "Hello?" I called out, my voice cracking. "Mr. Harlan? Is anyone here?" No answer. Just a faint scraping sound, like nails dragging along wood. I moved up the staircase, each step screaming under my feet. The sound grew louder. Scrape, scrape, stop. When I reached the landing, I noticed something written on the wall in faint, chalky lines. It said, "Don't look at the window after midnight." And that's when my phone buzzed in my pocket. An unknown number, a text from his number. "You shouldn't be here." The text still glowed on my screen. "You shouldn't be here." My throat tightened. My hands started to shake. The number, his number, had been disconnected for nearly a year. I wanted to leave, but the air in that house felt alive. Every breath echoed. Every shadow seemed to move half a second too late. I took one step back toward the stairs, and that's when I heard it. A faint ringtone coming from upstairs. His ringtone. It was a cheap metallic jingle, one I used to hear every morning through my open window when he'd sit in that same armchair. I followed the sound. My flashlight beam trembled across the wall, past the writing. "Don't look at the window after midnight." The sound was coming from the room at the end of the hall. The door was half open, and behind it, the ringtone stopped. I pushed the door gently. It creaked open just enough for the light to fall on something slumped in the chair by the window. The same chair, the same position. I whispered, "Mr. Harlan?" The figure didn't move. The flashlight caught a pale, waxy face, and for a second, I thought I saw him breathe. Then the phone on his lap lit up. It showed my own name on the screen. He was calling me. My own phone vibrated in my hand. I stared down and saw my reflection in the black glass. The moment I answered, a whisper crawled through the speaker. "Why did you open the window?" Every hair on my neck stood up. I turned to the real window behind him. It was wide open, curtains fluttering, night fog spilling inside like smoke. Then, the figure in the chair snapped its head toward me. Its eyes were gone, just 2 hollow sockets dripping with something dark. I stumbled backward. The phone dropped from my hand, still whispering, still hissing. Dozens of voices now, all saying the same thing. "Close the window. Close it now." Too late. The fog poured faster, thick, gray, swallowing the floor, the walls, everything. And through it, faces began to form. Dozens of faces, all pale, all empty-eyed, pressing against the glass from outside. They weren't trying to come in. They were trying to get out. One of them looked just like me. I ran. I don't even remember leaving the house, but when I finally reached home, gasping, shaking, I made one mistake. I looked out my own window, and there he was, Mr. Harlan, standing in his window again, smiling. Then slowly he raised his phone, and my phone buzzed. Incoming call. Myself.